Alright, kid. So, first of all, I sent you this link, right? So follow everything on this link. So do this. Just read through all of this, right? Get to here, here. Right, and you get to here. So you get to Firebase hosted model, right? So you need to set up this. Right. So I'll show you mine. So in my Heart machine learning class, which I have set up here, right? It looks a bit messy, but whatever, right? I have a function that creates the custom remote model, right? So Firebase custom remote model equals new Firebase custom remote model dot builder, which is my Heart predict model. So if I go into my Firebase, which will take a second, right? That's the name of the file on Firebase, but you don't really need this, right? What you should need, right, is create this private custom local model, configure local model source, right? So you have a a Firebase custom local model, you build it, and then you set the asset file path to Heart predict TF-Lite. So, but before you do that, you should create this assets folder, right, which is here, right? So if you go app, right click, new folder, assets folder, right? So it's in there. So you create one of them, and then you go to your Firebase. You download what you have, right? Download those 3 files, and you put them all into there. You put them there, right? So now that knows that the asset file path is in there. And you build it, and you return it. Or you could have a global variable and just set the local model to the global variable, right? You need to create your interpreter. So you just copy paste all this in, which is in the documentation. If you look here, just create an interpreter function, put all this into it, and return the interpreter. That's all you need to do, right? I go back. You don't need this. You don't need this. You need this, right? So this is your input-output options. So my input to the script is a 2D array of 1 by 13. So I have one row of 13 columns. So it's 13 things going into it, and I get an output of one and one, right? So you need to know what's your inputs and outputs. So if whoever's doing the machine learning, right? I know it's your man, but whoever's doing it could just run this. Even if you have it, you could just run this on Python. So if you say the model and you just pass through this, it'll give you out your inputs and outputs, right? Which is fine. So if I go back here, right, now I have my run inference. So my run inference is runs the script, right? So I get the local model, I create the interpreter, pass through the interpreter, I create the input-output options, which is this function that I just talked about. And then my Firebase inputs, right? So this input here is this input here, which is the 2D array. So I have a 2D array here, but you need to pass it through. You need to make it a Firebase model inputs, right? So you say Firebase model inputs equals new Firebase model inputs dot builder. You add the input, and you build it, right? Then you say your interpreter dot run inputs and your input-output options. And then you get this, an on success listener, right? And we'll say on success, you get a result, right? And then you check your result, say for ours, if it's greater than 0.5 or 0.5, you have a good chance of having a hearty effect, and if not, you don't, right? But you can't pass this value back. You can't say output return. You can't return output because it just gets messy and it doesn't work. I spent about a week doing it and it just doesn't work, right? So don't try it. So what I did was I passed through the text view into this this function, and I set the text view here saying output 00 by 100% chance, right? And then if not, I just say set text. And if it is over 0.5 or equal to 0.5, I say this looks a bit messy now, but like this is for the database. I write to the user's instance in the database and set their Heart value to the output. This can be a bit messy, right? I've passed through a database reference here, which is, this took me a while, right? in my decision activity. Where did I pass through? So in my first fragment, this is Kotlin now, so don't worry about it if you don't know it. Don't think you should know what's going on the screen. I have a database reference, right? My Firebase database.get reference where my users are. So if I go into mine, back to here. Right? So in my database, which is the real-time database, I have an option for users. So all these users get created, right? And I set their UID. This UID here is their authentication UID. So this one here is the same as what you just saw below, right? So every time a new user is created, I push a new user into users and I set all their ID and stuff, right? So then I find the reference where UID equals to the same UID as the authentication. I save that reference and then I set the hard value, say breast cancer result, to 95, which is here, right? Diabetes, which is here as well, yeah? So I push that value onto this reference, right? You'll have to do some Googling for that because this is all in Kotlin. This here is Kotlin and it doesn't make sense. But I can talk through. So like I have a database reference where I get reference of type users and I say reference holder. I have a reference holder class here, right, which just holds a database reference. This looks a bit messy now because it got messy because of Java and Kotlin talking to each other. But I have a reference holder, right, and I pass through the database and I pass through the user ID and I pass through the database reference, the whole database reference. So that's all users, right? So that's users, all users, you know. So if I do that, So it's all of them. That's all. Users would be like, oh, that's the reference for users, which would be all the sub of users, and then you'll have a sub of users, which is all these, right? So you need to loop through each one of these and find the UID where the UID is the same as the authentication. So where I have UID here, you can just say Firebase auth dot get current user string UID equals current auth dot get UID, right? And then you loop through. So for data snapshot, get children. So you say database reference dot loop through, basically. This is this. You'll find it online. For data snapshot, ds, get children. And then if ds.child UID dot get value dot equals UID, right? So I get the UID reference, which is here, and then I get the value of that UID. And I say if it equals to this user ID here, set the database reference to the reference that you're currently in, and then break. So that you can break out the loop. But keep looping until you find the same one, right? And yeah, I think that's basically it. You need to, when I create a user, I have a decision activity here. No, it's registration activity. So I set, like, I asked them who's their GP, what's their age, what's their email and stuff. And then I set it. So I create it and then I push it, I think. So I create the user here. Oh, Jesus. No. Do I create the user? Yeah, I create the user here. So I just checking each edit text to see if they're not empty, right? And I say user u equals new user. I create a class user, which just stores it. It's just to store stuff, right? I say u.set age, set address, email. And then I say new user reference child f name. That's set value user.get first name. So I set where first name is. I set the value for the new user I just created his first name is. Same for last name, address, age, email, user ID, GP ID, and I have to do the same for the insurance provider ID, right? And that's it. So then that gets pushed to the database, and then you have to find that reference in the database, which is what I went through a second ago. Yeah. And then you push, say, breast cancer result for this user when they run it.